Hey, this is Ian, and the question is, how hard is it to teach abroad? So, thinking about teaching abroad, you want to know, is it difficult or what? So this is what this video is going to be about. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the difficulties that other people have. This is based on, I interviewed about 30 teachers in China, Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, and that's going to be a little bit of what they said. Then I'm going to tell you about what I think, okay? So the first one's going to be language. So whenever you go to a new country, a foreign country, the language is different, right? So if you can't speak that language, you're going to be in for some difficulties with communication, with something. It just can be basic day-to-day stuff, paying bills, buying something in the supermarket, stuff like that, So language can be difficult. The one's culture, it's just there's subtle differences between cultures, and you don't really realize about what your culture is like until you go to another culture, and then there's just subtle differences, so it can be kind of hard to adapt to, and for some people. So food, some people don't like the food, like you get used to eating, everybody does, gets habitualized to eating whatever it is that they eat, right? And when you leave your country and you go somewhere else, you don't have the same options. You don't have the same food. People don't cook the same. Even if you go to the supermarket, you're not going to find the same kind of foods that you're going to find in a supermarket in your country. So it can be difficult. Teaching can be difficult, especially if you haven't done it before, or you don't have any training. That's going to be some stress. From your students, or just teaching, the classroom, preparing, all that. It's a totally different thing for most people who get into teaching. Some people can have problems with employers or co-workers, stuff like that. Lonely, it can be lonely. Teaching abroad can be lonely. So life can be lonely, right? So you're in a foreign land, you don't speak the language, you're new there, maybe you don't have any friends yet, you're probably going to be in for some lonely times, So some people have a problem with discrimination. Like there's general preference for, probably in Asia, most schools are going to prefer a white Caucasian teacher, but doesn't mean if you're not white, doesn't mean you won't. There's plenty of teachers out there who are non-white who taught abroad. Religion can be different. The state of development of a country, like if you go to China, and you got to see the people, really old buildings, some buildings without screens, some buildings without hot water, and then you got to see high end. This is a mix of poverty and wealth, and so there's just the buildings look different. Any country like that, it's going to be infrastructure is going to be different. Toilets can be different. Yeah, I mentioned before, co-teachers, the weather. So wherever you go, make sure you know about the weather. It's a pretty easy thing to find out. Some people can have a problem with that. Traffic, yeah, like in Asia, it can be kind of crazy. It's really populated. Leaving home. Some people can have problems leaving home and just getting out of where you are. That's just hard sometimes, to change, whatever you're doing. So for me, I would say the most difficult thing for me was teaching. My first year was pretty tough teaching, and I wasn't very good at it, and it was stressful. Just students, and just learning how to teach and all that stuff. So you might want to get some training or something. So that was the most difficult thing for me, and then co-teachers, and some schools you had co-teachers, and there was a few that were just drove me nuts. I had to work with stuff like that, work-related stuff. So that's my 2 cents. I'll leave a link here to an article about where I answered this question. I go into a lot more detail. You can check out. And this information is based, what I told you about. Again, I'll go through them again. 9 teachers mentioned language being the problem. let's see, 6 teachers mentioned culture being a problem. 5 mentioned the teaching or their students. 3 mentioned the food. 3 mentioned their employer. 2 mentioned loneliness. 2 mentioned discrimination, and the rest just kind of one person. I mean, it's not like a deep scientific study or anything, but it's 30 teachers and they had some things in common to say. So there you have it. Have a good one.